Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I actually had a lot of fun with this video. It is the most recent jailhouse call from Chille, and not only has he had the time to create a whole new board game, read a philosophical book, but he's now claiming that he's suffering from Stockholm syndrome in jail. But I mean, it is Chille. So we all know that Chille doesn't even know what Stockholm Syndrome means, just like he doesn't understand any case law. But it's really interesting how he's now suffering from Stockholm Syndrome. Anyways, enjoy the video.
Hello, Team VLZ. This is Chille DeCastro. Today is April 25th, 2024. I am an innocent man incarcerated at Clark County Detention Center. I am in the dungeon. The video of my wrongful arrest, the video of my wrongful persecution has been seen by millions of people. I am innocent and I am in jail. So thank you for taking the time to listen to this. I appreciate it. I've been in here now for almost 6 weeks. It's been a very difficult journey for me. I'm a people person. I love people. I'm an empath. I care about people.
Shut your piggish mouth. And don't approach me. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth and shut your mouth. I'm your boss. You understand that? Shut your mouth. I'm walking down the street. Mind your own business. I'm just standing here. If you hadn't approached me, don't come behind me, piggy. Okay.
And so what I've done with my time in here was I mentioned about 2 years ago that I was going to create a board game called Constitutional Law Scholar. Well, guess what? I have created a board game called Constitutional Law Scholar. I have a little bit of the blanks to fill in, but I'm going to have the entire game on paper so I can translate it into cards, much like...
Oh no, Chille has created a board game called Constitutional Law Scholar. And he has a little bit of blank cards in there because he has to figure it out. I'm pretty sure the entire freaking thing is blank because Chille has no clue about the Constitution. He has no clue about laws. He has no clue about case laws. So I don't know what in the world he would have put on these cards, but none of it is going to be accurate or factual. So this is just going to be a game that you want to play when you want to feel stupid in life.
The Trivial Pursuit game of the 1980s and the 90s, that box of cards you got. But this is U.S. Constitutional Law Scholar, the board game. And it's played differently than just on a board. It's completely different than that. But I'm not going to go into too many details, but it is super exciting. If you ever wanted to learn the United States history or constitutional history, this thing that I've created is so interactive. It is so cool. If you're just a person who wants to learn history or play a history game, or if you're homeschooling your kids and you want to teach them history, if you are a school and you have a classroom full of students who want to learn history, if you're a bunch of 40-year-old dudes sitting around who want to learn history, I've created the most interactive, badass game you have ever seen. And this next week, I'll have a lot.
So basically, if you are a teacher and you're wanting to teach history, or you're homeschooling your children and want to teach them history, or as he says, you're just a bunch of 40-year-old dudes sitting around wanting to learn history, do not buy anything that he claims is going to teach you anything, because he doesn't know anything. How can he teach something that he does not know and understand? Plain and simple. If you truly hate somebody and you want them to walk around life completely stupid and brain dead, then buy Chille's board game and let them learn Chille law.
More knowledge because someone is sending me in the books that I requested. And so let me take that time just to take a segue here and say thank you. I've gotten your letters. I've gotten so many letters from John, from Joe, from Eric, from, oh man, I don't want to miss anybody's names, but I always do like people's names. And then you guys sent me books as well. But I don't know who the book comes from because it has to come from a publisher here in Vegas or it has to come from Amazon directly. You can't just send me a book from your house. So I don't know who sent me this book called Probable Cause, but I want to say thank you for that book. And I want to say thank you for you guys sending me tons of letters. I mean, I really appreciate it. You guys can put the address up there in the edit. But thank you so much for sending me letters. It brings my spirit up so much. However, I'm just...
Well, there you go. You know how Chille always bans us whenever we comment in his comment section in the live streams or even in the comment section of his videos? He bans us because he doesn't want to see what we have to say because he knows we're right and he's wrong. Now is your time to force Chille into reading what you have to say to him. Because now he has no choice. He can't just ban or block your letter. He has to open it and read it. So there you go. This is our chance to get Chille to actually listen to us. And maybe we could teach him a thing or two. Who knows? He may actually pay attention. He probably won't. And smart thing is, do not put a return address on there because we all know how Chille is.
So excited about this new game that has really sprang to life that's been locked up in here because I have to spend my time doing something. I'm always a productive person, and so I spent my time creating this board game for you, and when I get out of here, I will have it completely done within 30 days. I'm going to make 1,000 copies, and I'll have them out within 30 days from the time I'm released from this dungeon. And then other thing that I kind of wanted to briefly talk about here.
Wait, so he's going to make 1,000 copies of his board game? So is this going to be kind of like your trifold kind of thing? $99.99. You can get the color version of your board game, but for only $59.99, you can print it out on your computer in black and white. Is that how you plan on doing it, Chille? Just like your stupid trifold?
Is Stockholm Syndrome. I want you guys to research, Google, look up Stockholm Syndrome. Because I am living it. I'm absolutely living it. I don't want to go into too much detail because I want you guys to research Stockholm Syndrome yourself. But
when Chille says that, it means he has no clue what Stockholm Syndrome means. Stockholm Syndrome is the psychological and emotional response to an unforeseen traumatic event that occurs when hostages or abuse victims develop a positive bond with their captors or abusers. It is often influenced by imbalanced power dynamics in abusive relationships, kidnappings, and hostage-taking scenarios. The victim tends to develop a connection and attachment with their captors. Instead of being afraid or fearful, the victim starts to empathize and sympathize with their abusive individual. They feel like they can share a common vision with their captors. According to studies, the syndrome seems to be an automatic, probably unconscious emotional response to the traumatic experience of being a victim. It affects hostage and hostage takers alike and serves to unite both, being victims of siege environments against outsiders. When someone develops this disorder, they are found to sympathize with their abusers or captors instead of feeling terrified. Individuals experiencing this condition are found to feel love, empathy, and even desire to protect their captors. They may also develop negative feelings towards police or government authorities who are trying to rescue them. The psychological effects of Stockholm Syndrome are brief, and its long-term impact is still being studied. Even though Stockholm Syndrome is a well-known mental health condition, it is not recognized. By the new edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, Stockholm episodes have been occurring over centuries, but it wasn't until 1973 that it was identified as the Stockholm Syndrome. So basically, Chille just found a new way to gain sympathy and attention and probably more donations from his followers.
Feel the plight and the pain of others. I put myself in other people's shoes to see how they see it. I'm definitely going through Stockholm Syndrome. I absolutely can't stand it. I hate it. But that's what's happening to me right now.
Yeah, what little bit that he just shared has nothing to do with Stockholm Syndrome. I have no clue what he's talking about. First of all, he's not an empath. Like, that's just the biggest laughable thing I've heard him say ever, other than I'm a constitutional law scholar, is the fact that he claims he's an empath. Yeah, okay. And he just described Stockholm Syndrome as being able to step in other people's shoes and see what they're feeling. That is not what Stockholm Syndrome is. I guess he just kind of heard it somewhere before and decided, That sounds like a good diagnosis for me. I'm just going to tell people that's what I have. I'm not going to tell them what it is. I'm not going to give them examples of why I feel that way. I'm just going to tell them to Google it and find out what it is. And hey, anytime he says Google it means even he doesn't understand what it is. He just heard it and he's going to run with it.
I've also decided to change my diet while I'm in here because the food is absolute slop. It is horrifically bad. It is like the lowest grade of food ever. And so now I'm doing is just eating the vegetables on the tray. That's all I'm doing. A couple of you guys sent me eye care gift packages. There's a website called Eye Care Gifts. Thank you so much. I'm trading the food that you sent me through Eye Care Gifts to other people for bottled water because I can only order 3 bottles of water at a time. So that's what I'm doing with that.
Is Chille dehydrated like Deborah Rogers was dehydrated when she went to jail for listening to his legal advice? Yes, you're allowed to buy 3 bottles of water a day. If you need more than that, they do have places that you can refill the water bottle. They also offer buckets of ice. So you can just get the ice and let it melt, and then you've got more water. Oh my goodness. This whole section right here is just woe's me. Everybody please send me food. That's all that is.
And, I'm going through some stuff through the legal process here. There's some legal things going on. I will let Michael Eline tell you what's going on tonight on the channel when he goes live. I don't want to get into it too much because I don't want to give it too much credence, too much attention. There's always people in the world who are going to be, you guys can see it. There's people who celebrate me being in jail, even though I've committed no crime. I've hurt nobody. No restitution is due. No property is damaged. Nobody is hurt. Nobody's bleeding in the streets. There's no babe weeping. There's no one crying they've been stolen money from. Nothing. I'm an innocent person in jail, but there's still people who celebrate that I'm in jail, which is just, that's, but that's not going to be me. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not going to stop being a loving, caring, giving person. I'm going to continue to be who I am.
Yes, Chille, by all means, continue to be who you are, because you are not a loving, caring, nice person. You are a vile human being who treats everybody like shit, who doesn't sit around kissing your butt all day long, and who doesn't agree with everything you have to say. You are disgusting. You are vile. You're a pathological liar. You're constantly frauding people. You're a con man. You are not who you just described yourself as. I mean, if you were going to change, then maybe shoot for those goals. But you said it right there. You're just going to continue being who you are. And that right there proves to us that you haven't learned a damn thing while being in jail.
The best gift that I could have done for the world is created this game, U.S. Constitutional Law Scholar. When I go away and I'm on a graveyard somewhere and there's a headstone, they'll say, this man created U.S. Constitutional Law Scholar, the game, because I think this is going to be one of my greatest contributions to society that I've ever done.
You seriously cannot be serious about this. Like, you really think that when you are worm food that your headstone is going to read, this guy invented the Constitutional Law Scholar game, because it's going to be your greatest contribution to the world? Chille, the absolute greatest contribution to the world that you can actually give is to shut up. To just shut the F up. Stop talking. Stop lying. Stop giving legal advice that's completely wrong. Just shut up. Become a productive member of society. Get an actual job. Get a home. Get your own car. Actually, just be a decent human being. But some dumb little game that you decided to make while sitting in jail that's never going to get done, and if it does, it's probably only going to sell 2, and then you're going to start giving them away for free because nobody's buying them, like you do your trifold and that cop card thing. Just shut the F up. That is the best and greatest contribution to the world that you could ever offer.
It is the most interactive, fun way to learn history that you'll ever see in your entire life. You will never play a game that's more fun and more interactive that you can play with 7-year-old kids or 70-year-old men. It doesn't matter. I have been sitting here for a month and a half, and most of the time I'm walk down to a bed with a desk at it, and I just have my pen, my paper, and my brain. And I'm fortunate that I have a near photographic memory because I memorized so many cases and so much of history and events.
Okay, the fact that he said all he has is a pen, a piece of paper, and his brain, and that he has a photographic memory, I think we're all safe with this game now, because Chille actually works off of half of a brain cell. Most of the time, that brain cell is dead and needs to be brought back to life just to get a functioning sentence out of his mouth. So I think we're all safe. This game will never happen, and if it does, it's just going to be a parody game of whatever he wants it to be. But it's never going to teach anybody actual history. It's just going to be a game where you can actually make fun of the game creator, and that's going to be about it. But yeah, since all he has is his brain, a piece of paper, and a pen to work with, I think we're good.
States and all these things, and I've been able to put it together in the most incredible way you've ever seen. It didn't take long, to be honest with you. I've had the concept in my head for a long time, but I haven't just sat down and said, okay, what are the nuts and bolts of this, and how does this work? How do you learn history by playing a game, and it's fun? How do I do that? And how do I make it so it's not too hard for people? Because that was the big one. How do I make a game where if I want you to know the 1883 case of Pace versus Alabama, if I want you to know that case, how do I present it to you in a way that you can learn Case versus Alabama, and at the same time, it's interactive and it's fun?
Well, we definitely don't have to worry about you teaching us that case law, because anytime you do yell out some kind of case law, it has nothing to do with the case law you claim it has to do with. You don't even understand Terry versus Ohio, and that is your entire gimmick, is overturn Terry versus Ohio, and you yourself do not even know what a Terry stop is. You don't understand what that case is, or the case law. You don't understand what the law, period, of Terry versus Ohio is. So yes, it's going to be very easy for you to put this game together, because basically all of the case law and laws you're throwing on there are just shit you're making up in your head. It's not the actual laws. You didn't have to memorize the actual case law to put it on there. You're making up whatever comes into your head and sounds good to you and fits your narrative, and you're putting it down on a game. So of course it's easy for you.
And I figured that out. And so I'm giving you my word, within 30 days of me being the Lawz, I got to live through this first. There's lots of people who leave this dungeon feet first. So I have to live through this first. It's very real, and it's very scary. But
oh my God, Chille, you are not in some Siberian POW prison where you're being tortured 24/7. Like, come on, you're in a county jail. You're talking about how, oh, if I live through this, you're in a county jail. You're not in Guantanamo. You're not in a Siberian prison. You're in Clark County Jail. That's it. You're over dramatizing shit. You are the biggest drama queen I've ever seen in my life. Calm down, grow a pair, stop being a little bitch, and just do your time.
Optimistically, if I can have some optimism here for a moment, someone put a ray of sunshine on my face, please, because I have not seen the sun since March 17th, 2024. Not one beam of sunlight has hit my face since that day. So that really makes it, I've only been here a month and a week. Regardless, I've created something that I think is going to stand the test of time, because Trivial Pursuit was created, I think, in the late 80s. And that game is obviously dated. Nothing against it. I love playing that game. But they had current affairs, and they had science. Some of the science now has been debunked, and some of those current affairs they're just no longer relevant to our society. But U.S. constitutional.
Actually, Chille, Trivial Pursuit has history questions on there that are still very relevant to our society. I don't know what Trivial Pursuit game you were playing growing up, but obviously it wasn't the same one everybody else was playing. And again, it's so funny how you believe any game that you come up with called constitutional law game, you actually think it's going to stand up to or even come close to comparing to Trivial Pursuit is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Law Scholar, this game I created, it'll be relevant for the rest of my life and the rest of yours, because history is not going to be changing. Remember, there was a bastardized version of history created by a guy named William Archibald Dunnan, who partnered with the Sisters of the Confederacy to write a whitewashed version of history. And I'm sorry that that's true, but it is. This is the unedited version of history where you truly learn. I'm talking the learning factor in this is 100 times. It is 10x, 10x, 10x. And to me, I feel like I've been able to take advantage of this horrific process I'm being put through, and I've been able to take my time and my brain and my ability and my knowledge and create a product that you guys will be able to have and play with. And I'm super stoked about it, you know? Look, obviously there's nonsense going on in the world. There's things I have to deal with legally that I shouldn't have to deal with, but I have to deal with them. And so I think we're creating another GoFundMe because I have to deal with this, and it's real.
What do you mean there's things that you have to deal with legally that you shouldn't have to deal with? You put yourself in there. You being in jail is the consequences of your own actions, your behavior, your mouth. This is all on you. You did this to yourself. So where you're coming up with things I shouldn't have to legally deal with is complete bullshit. And now you're saying that you have to start a new GoFundMe page?
And so I don't want to give it too much credit.
Two GoFundMe pages. One of them where you're asking for $20,000 and you've only raised $311, which I find this freaking hilarious. With news of the horrible injustices that Lawz is facing while in prison. He's not in prison. He's in a county freaking jail. And then you have this second GoFundMe page where you're asking for $35,000 and you've already made $25,990. You've already raised all of that. So what exactly do you need more money for, Chille? Because it's not like you're going through some kind of murder trial or something huge like that. They're misdemeanors. You do not need that much money for legal fees. This is ridiculous. And what's sad is his followers believe all of this. I mean, this is just crazy. He's hired some of the cheapest lawyers out there, but yet he's needing now more money? Like this, I mean, come on. Anybody else can see through his bullshit. I don't know what in the world is wrong with his followers, but anyone working with a full brain and who knows how to think for themselves can see through his bullshit.
Versions available. The exact same version as the one that's regular, and I'll make it available for low-income people so that you guys can get the game as well and play the game. And that's all I can do is just keep doing what I do. And listen, I'm not walking around in here like, you know, skateboarding through here and be like, yeah, this is great. When I talk to you guys on the phone and I give a daily update, I've got to pull my spirit up. I got to pull my attitude up. I got to pull my head up and say, you know what? I'm addressing the people. And these are the people who love me and support me and who are on Team DLC. And so I pull up my spirit and I say, you show them that you can't be broken. You know, you guys saw me in court. That was after I was in the hole for 5 days. I told one of the guards last night, you know, this is part of the Stockholm syndrome I was telling you about. We had a conversation last night and I said, I'm going to end this 23-hour day lockdown. Do you know that I don't remember my hearing? When I was brought before Judge Zimmerman for the second time for my appeal bond, I don't remember any of it, not a single word of it, because I had been put in 23-hour-a-day lockdown. When they pulled me out of that lockdown after being in there for 5 days.
Chille, that's not Stockholm syndrome. That's just you willing to talk to whoever will listen. And unfortunately, the guards can't leave. Like, they have to stay there. So they're pretty much being forced to listen to you talk. So it has nothing to do with Stockholm syndrome. And no, you're not going to end 23-hour lockdowns. You can't you can't even overturn Terry versus Ohio because you don't know what it means. You honestly think that you would be in any kind of leadership position where you would be able to stop 23-hour lockdowns? You are delusional and you need mental health. Really bad. Really, really bad. Yeah, there's no running for governor. Just get some mental help because you need it more than anybody I know.
I think I was crying before I even got halfway down the hallway, and I didn't even know why I was crying. I just knew I was scared, and I was tired of being locked in this tiny little room.
Yeah, you did not have some kind of brain lapse or memory lapse that you don't remember you being in court. You remember being in court. You were crying there like a little baby too because you were trying to gain sympathy from the judge, but the judge could see right through your bullshit. And you were crying when you were leaving the hearing because you didn't get your way. That's why you were crying. And you know this. You know this. You just know that every time you lie, your followers are going to believe all of your lies. Like, it's just pathetic that none of them know how to think for themselves.
And I don't remember any of it. My brain cells over that 5 days had shrunk. They don't give you a pencil. They don't give you a book. Nothing. You just sit in this tiny, tiny cell. And then once in a while they throw a cellmate in there. And sometimes that cellmate makes it worse for you. It makes it a lot worse. So I was telling this guard last night, you guys have given me a new part of my mission, which is to end the 23-hour-a-day lockdown. Now, this is definitely hell where I'm at, but there's...
Chille, your only mission is to see how far you can go and see how much money you can take from your subscribers. That is your only mission. You don't have a mission to overturn Terry versus Ohio or get rid of 23-hour lockdowns or anything like that. Your only mission is to see how much money you can get from your subscribers by lying to them and giving them reasons to feel sorry for you, even though there's no reason in the world to feel sorry for you.
Enough of my 23-hour-a-day lockdown. Nobody should be treated that way. Nobody should be treated that way. And I tell you what, I'm going to end it. And I'm going to do it with you, and we're going to do it together. There's no way a person who's in the dungeon for a misdemeanor charge, there's no reason...
You have 1 minute left.
There's no reason in the world they should be locked into a room for 23 hours a day, and we got to change it. So I'll try to end on a positive note. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you. If you sent me an eye care gift or if you sent me a book, I don't know who you are. No name comes on it. So let me just say now, thank you. For your letters, thank you.
Wait, so even his own followers don't trust him enough to put their name and return address on anything they send him? That's golden.
For your support on my GoFundMe, there'll be another one tonight for the new charge I'm facing for obstructing justice May 1st. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. I love you. We don't stop. I'll see you when I get out of here. Thank you again. I'll see you on the next one. Later, Gators.
So there we go. Chille used only half of his brain cell to come up with some game called Learn Constitutional Law or some crap like that he swears up and down is going to be bigger than Trivia Pursuit. And oh, what else? Oh yeah, he's got Stockholm Syndrome now, but he has no clue what Stockholm Syndrome means, to the point where he's telling people to Google it. I'm sure he just wants his followers to Google it so that they can write him and tell him what exactly it means, because well, he can't Google anything right now, can he? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Oh, I did cut out a big chunk of it because it was just repetitive about this stupid game towards the end. So I just cut that part out and left the ending of it in there. I don't like doing that, but it was just so repetitive, so I got rid of it. Anyways, take care, be safe. See you guys next time.